Hi guys, welcome back. So today we are going to make dandelion jam. This is so fun and it's really simple and it's almost free if you live somewhere with dandelions. Here's the little green parts I am snapping off. I just want all of that little yellow fluff for our dandelion jam. Try to get this from an area that has not had pesticides or no animals, nothing dirty like that. So I have all of my little yellow fluff. I'm going to put it in my fine mesh strainer and I'm going to wash it. Then we're going to steep this the same way that you would steep tea. Get some boiling water, put your yellow fluff up there, grab a good little helper to stir up those leaves for you. That's what I have. My Hannah is helping me today. She is stirring up all of those leaves until we get a nice yellow water. Again, this is just, you can drink it like this. This is dandelion tea. It is so good for you. It is full of antioxidants. Some people say it cures cancer. Who knows? But with all those antioxidants, I am certain that it is very good for you. So you can drink it just like this if you would like. All parts of a dandelion are edible. The leaves, the flower, the roots. The roots are actually a coffee substitute, so you can do that as well if you would like. I have not done that yet, but I would really like to try. All right, now I have all of my dandelion tea made up. I'm going to throw in a dehydrated lemon and let that steep in there as well. You also could throw in some lemon juice or squeeze a lemon in here as well, but we want to get some lemon in here. The final flavor is going to be a bit of a honey lemon flavor. It's really nice and you're going to enjoy it. I've gained an extra helper. So now we're going to strain out all of this dandelion tea and we're going to get all the yellow fluff out with our fine mesh strainer. I bought this off of Amazon. I'll link it below. I was in need of a fine mesh strainer. If you saw my old one from my old videos, oh my, I melted it and I used it for years that way. But now I have a nice one, yay. So now we have our yellow water. We're going to turn that on high and we are going to get that to a boil. This is how much dandelion fluff I have left after everything is said and done, and nothing goes to waste here. I'm going to feed it to my chickens. Really good for them. Once you have your dandelion water all hot, we're going to add our sugar. One of the good things about making your own jam is you have control of how much sugar you put in, which is nice. This recipe will be linked below if you want to follow what I have done. Now we're going to get all of that sugar dissolved in this hot water. And once it's all dissolved, we'll go on to the next step. So we're going to get that in there and up to a boil. Now, while that's doing that, we're going to prep our jars and supplies. Make sure your jars are washed and clean, and then go ahead and give them a good boil. You want those jars sterile. When canning, it is so important to make sure that everything is squeaky clean. This is what's going to make everything seal and stay sealed. That's so important whenever you're preserving your own food. Okay, this is all dissolved in there. It is hot, so we're going to move on to the next step. We're going to add in our gelatin. This is the kind that I am using. I will be adding in 2 boxes because I'm making a double batch today. Again, that recipe will be linked below for a single batch. And I'm going to pour this in while it's hot, both packets, and dissolve that as well, getting it to a boil. I buy mine at Walmart more often than not, but you can also buy it off of Amazon, and I will link that below for you in case that's easier. I know out where I live on a farm, sometimes it's just so much easier to click on Amazon and have it sent to my house. So I will put that below for you. And if you like things like this, make sure that you push the like button. It blesses me. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that as well. I love having you in this community and I love seeing your comments and knowing how you're doing. I enjoy it. You bless me. We bless each other, and I am thankful for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get in this second pack here. And again, we're going to get this to a nice boil. While this heats up, we're going to go ahead and get out our stock pot. I will link that below as well. I'll also link below the little ball kit I use. You'll see my rubber ball thing there at the bottom. I am about to boil everything. It's already been washed, but I want to give it that last sanitizing boil. So I have my jars in here. You do not have to boil your lids in rings. However, I always dip them in that hot water, and I have never, knock on wood, had a jar not seal and stay sealed. So hopefully what I do is working. All right, we're getting that to a boil. And what is that handy dandy trick that I taught you? Lay your wooden spoon across the top. It'll break that surface tension and prevent your pot from boiling over. I've always had this work, and it has saved me from huge messes many times. So get that wooden spoon across the top of that pot. All right, so we're going to keep that from burning. We are almost done. I'm going to let that boil for just a couple of minutes before we pour it into our jars. All right, now I've turned down the heat. Look, you can see on the side there how it's already kind of turning into that jam that says that we have done it right. So yay. Now we are going to go ahead and start ladling this into our jars. All right, I have my funnel in my jar, and we are going to start filling these up. This did come in the ball canning set that I have linked below from Amazon. And we want to leave a little bit of a headspace in our jar. You never want to leave more than 1-inch headspace, because that leaves a lot of air and room for bacteria to grow, which can cause your lids to eventually pop off because of the bacteria growing. That is unsafe. Every recipe calls for 1-inch or less of headspace. It varies a little. You always want at least 1/4 inch of a headspace, because whenever we put these into that hot water bath, we do not want our jars to explode. So there has to be a little bit of room for expansion and wiggle room, but again, never more than 1-inch. So we're going to see how many jars we can get filled here. I like to try to get as many as I can. I have my little jars that I like to give away when I can. Something like Dandelion Jam is unique. Not everyone does it, and it's a really fun spring gift for your family and friends. Now we're going to dip our paper towel into the hot water. This is the way I do it. And we are going to go around those rims and make sure that there is nothing on that rim. Now I will do this twice with the hot water on each jar, and then I will go with a dry paper towel and I will wipe it again, making sure that there is no sticking, nothing there that is going to inhibit our seal from sealing. And again, you might get that initial seal, but then it will unseal if you haven't done it properly, and we do not want that. And we definitely don't want to give away jars that unseal later and poison our friends and family potentially. So we want to make sure that this is clean. This is a very important step. Do not skip it. Shout out right here to this company on Amazon. I did a comparison between this off-brand and the ball lids to see if it sealed as well as a ball lid. I'm going to dip it in the hot water right here. This is something that I always do. It is not necessary, but I feel like it gives it that extra sterilization, and it makes that little rubber seal ready to stick to that glass, and it has always worked well for me. So I am going to do that with all of these lids. I will say, in my comparison test between the off-brand lids and the ball lids, I did find the off-brand lids to be just as effective as the ball lids. I even used some Kerr lids in here, and I found the off-brand to be just as good. So if you want to save a little bit of money, I will link those below. I think they are worth your purchase. So I wanted to throw that out there as an option to save you a little bit of money. I am going to dip my rings in here as well. Again, that little bit of extra sterilization. Now we're going to finger tighten our rings onto our jars. This does not need to be Hulk strength tightened. It just needs to be finger tightened, and that will hold our lids down while we water bath them. So we're getting those ready to go in for processing. We're going to lift these jars into the pot and see how many we can fit into my pot. I'm going to use my tongs that came in my bowl kit. And then we're going to put the lid on and we're going to turn that temperature up. And when your water has reached a full boil, that is when you start your timing. You want to water bath according to your elevation. There, you can Google this and it'll give you the information you need. You can go longer and it won't hurt anything, but you don't want to go under. For example, if your elevation calls for a 10-minute processing time, you could boil these for 15 minutes and it would be fine, but you don't want to go 5 minutes. That would be bad. So a little bit of extra won't hurt if in doubt, but don't go under. All right, so just these two little ones won't fit in there, so I'm going to go ahead and get the rest going. I'm going to get my lid on here and get that temperature up and get it timed. My time is up, so I've taken the lid off. I'm going to let this cool down just a little bit before I reach in there, and then we'll start taking out our jars. Now that that's cooled down just a little bit, I'm going to pop these out and over to my towel on this side, and then we are going to leave them untouched for 24 hours. At this point, you should start hearing those little seals popping. It's such a wonderful sound to those of us who can. It means you did it right. So hopefully you hear each one pop. And then in 24 hours, we will go ahead and remove those rings because you never want to keep your rings on to create a false seal. If that seal pops, we want to know about it. All right, guys, did you hear that beautiful popping sound? It means it was done well. Yay. I am ordering beautiful yellow flower labels for the top of these because have to. Dandelion Jam. I'll link those below as well. But for now, I am done. I'm going to let them sit here. And until next time, guys, bye.